Nice intro for the morning. Fresh off a cold. Stay cold. Jeez. What up, Doc? You know, this gonna be the last one for like the next 2 years. Nah, I give it up. Caffeine Morning Show. Sticks. We gonna do this thing like this.
AM Caffeine Show. AM Caffeine Show. What's up? It's your boy DLC.
It's your girl Marlo J.
DJ Smooth Melody.
Welcome, 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 everyone. First and foremost, you guys, before we actually get into the show, I want to make sure that I give a huge shout out and condolences, man, to Ecstasy from Houdini. Definitely one of those iconic groups, one of those groups that set the tone for rap groups of today, passed away. So I have to make sure that I give condolences, man, because Houdini, like, for me, growing up was one of those groups that I always looked forward to seeing perform live. Huge fan of the music, and they're the homies. So I wanted to make sure I gave condolences to everyone from the Houdini family. So shout out to them. So what's going on, you guys? What's happening, Marlo J? What's up?
Nothing. Just over here looking cute. You see my new hair?
A whole lot.
Who's looking cute?
Don't try me, Doc. You know who looking cute. You see me?
I mean, so you have so much more hair from the last time that I saw you.
And the killer is that you asked me earlier, whose is it?
Yeah, whose hair is that? Whose hair is that?
It's what?
I know there's like a cheetah or a hyena, something running around upstairs.
Do you see these curls? You don't see these ringlets? What animal you know got these ringlets besides me?
Smooth Day, what's popping?
What's up, man? We just getting started, but already we got some check-in. We got check-ins from Justice, Ronimo. We got check-in from Jamie. Everybody's checking on the social media. Want to see what's cracking with the AM Caffeine Show today.
Justice and Jamie!
Today, man, we have royalty. Like, we've had some athletes on the show, right? But not to this.
Not anybody like this.
Not to this degree, right? Heisman Trophy winner, Rookie of the Year recipient, over 10,000 yards. I mean, there's so many accomplishments and accolades. We don't even have that much time. But for him to take time to hang out with the AM Caffeine Show speaks volumes. And Marlo J, I don't even know how he did it for you. I don't know what that's about.
Because we friends.
The fact that you even know somebody.
People like me. I'm a good friend.
Wow. And I'm gotta find. I don't know how that happened.
And real friends.
I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for him. But today, man, the one and only, and I'm saying it here now, future Hall of Famer. It's coming up. When you look at the numbers and the amount of years that he had put into the league, there's no question that he will not get into the NFL Hall of Fame. The one and only Eddie George in the building today.
In the building!
Thank you,
George, what's up, man?
Thank you. Hey, man, I'm blessed and highly favored, man. Thank you for the intro. Thank you for the love, Doc, Smooth. Thank you for the love, Marlo, the homie. Thank you for having me come on tonight. You know, it's funny that you started off the show sending out your condolences to Ecstasy and the Houdini family. You know, I grew up in that era with a young LL Cool J, Houdini, the Fat Boys, Run DMC, PSK. I mean, it's just, it hurt. This one really just kicked us in the gut. And it was crazy. I reached out to Marlo maybe 2 days ago, just saying, listen, I'm just calling, reaching out, saying, listen, I love you. You know what I'm saying? And this has been a hard year for everybody with all that's going on. It started off with Kobe, and then the COVID-19 situation, the social unrest, and we lost Chadwick Boseman and a list of other people.
Yes.
And I just said, you know what? Tomorrow's not promised. I mean, I'm in great health. I feel great, but you never know. So, hey, I salute you. I want to give you a rose right now. How you doing? Let's talk some shit. You know, let's keep it light, you know, whatever.
Absolutely.
I mean, this time is really, I mean, listen, I typically drink tequila and I drink like white liquors now I'm in my 40s with the Tito's and all that. But tonight I'm drinking brown. I'm going back old school. I went back old school because it's just
that brown liquor. Yo, that brown liquor ain't no punk.
They don't even know, Eddie. Neither one of them drink. They don't.
Right.
Hey,
I'm a DJ, so I've seen the effects of both.
Yeah. I know that.
Dark liquor brings on. Like, you had some really bad decisions.
Right.
Dark liquor make you emotional. It makes you emotional.
You all sticks with you like luggage.
When
Right.
I first started drinking dark liquor, was dark liquor. When I first started drinking, when I would get drunk, I would start to cry and then apologize. So then it was a crying thank you. I'm so sorry. And then tell everybody I love them, and I don't mean no harm. I'm sorry. I love you. I don't mean any harm.
Hey, I think our comments are down with that brown liquor too. Somebody shouted out some scotch in the house. They drinking tonight.
Yes, sir.
Some scotch.
Sir.
Yeah, somebody on some scotch.
You got to be on Mad Men to drink.
Whose auntie is that?
No, that's my frat brother Norbert. He said he on the scotch right now.
Right now, wow.
What his name again?
Norbert.
No, it figures. Norbert. What else would a Norbert drink?
Right, and he's from Atlanta.
Yeah. He's either on scotch or Crown Royal. A Norbert is on one of the two.
And he got a cigar on deck. He good.
Nice. Hey, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Listen.
There it is. AM Caffeine Show, Eddie George in the building. So before we kind of get into some background, I do have a quick question. Records are meant to be broken, right? But let's keep it all the way 100, Ed, today. You had a record that was just broken by Trey. What's Trey? Sermon, right? That's the last name?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, the politically correct thing to do is what you did. Congratulations, my dude. But deep down, and we only have like 7 viewers, so nobody really knows. Don't you be like, man, damn, why did he break my record? Like, for real, when nobody's looking, how do you feel about that?
You damn right. Shit. I mean,
in the back of his mind, he like, I hope they find a technicality.
Not in the back of my mind, the front of my mind, I'm like, how the hell are they going? How does this happen? Like, how do you just go out here and just lay down?
Right.
I'm looking at Northwestern's defense, like, really?
Like, really?
Word.
Right.
And yeah, like I didn't know about it because I was in Philly visiting my parents. I was flying back to Nashville and the game was on, and I wasn't really paying attention to it. So I go on the plane, I sit down on the plane, and I'm getting these text messages like, yo, he's about to break your record, whoop, whoop, whoop. And I'm like, really? Word? Like, damn, 300? Like, he's doing that? I turn it on, he right at 3:32. We're like,
right.
6 minutes to go, right? So I'm like, all right, there might be a shot that, they'll score here, Northwestern, or kind of, put a drive together, and they'll run out the clock. All right, you had a great day. All right, right? 4th and 4. Northwestern goes for it right at the 40-yard line. Enough room for him to get it, right? They don't get it. 1:30 left. And I'm like, okay, the game's over. Let's take a knee and go home.
Go home, right.
Let's go home. Let's just go home, right? The ball off to the young boy, and I'm like, no!
No! Like, no!
I was like, damn! No! I said, damn. I said, really, God? I said, all right, that was my last record that was coming down. I had the single season rushing record that went down last year to J.K. Dobbins. I was second behind Archie Griffin in all career yards. That went down. But you know what, man? 25 years is a hell of a run.
Absolutely.
I posted the number. It's for everyone to be etched in stone. And if that can spark a young man's career, his confidence, and give him the blessings that, this career afforded me, then so be it. Right now, it would have really bothered me if I was still living on that mountain.
Right.
So I left that mountain. Now I'm doing some other things. I'm trying to get 300 yards in the world of business. I'm trying to get a Hall of Fame in business and entrepreneurship and entertainment and education and changing lives. So that's where I'm at right now. So it's from looking at it from that perspective, I'm like, yeah, I've been there, done it. Congratulations. But still though, I'm pissed. But it's all good.
When you broke Earl Campbell's record, who is my favorite football player of all time, I grew up a Houston Oilers fan because of Earl Campbell. When you broke his record, did he reach out to you and say congratulations?
Earl don't watch football. Earl congratulated me when I won the Heisman.
Okay.
But he doesn't give a shit about him. I'm pretty sure Earl don't even know he had the record.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He don't keep in touch like that. I mean, Earl and I, we talk to this day. We're doing business together. But he doesn't watch pro football at all. And he watched college football. He still, loves talking about the Texas Longhorns and all that. So he never reached out, nor was I looking for it. But I think, in this time in my life, I look at how I'm building a bridge for other kids to do great things and so they can navigate, not make the mistakes I've made, and to also congratulate. Because you don't want to be that one old hating ass athlete that
them damn young whippersnappers.
It's so much easier now.
He ain't run against no good defense. There wasn't no dogs in that defense.
Right.
Being a hating dude, I'm gonna congratulate you. But deep within though, in the back, like nigga.
That's real.
But aside from of course, the Super Bowl, aside from the Super Bowl and the whatever conference championship, what is the best trophy to get in the NFL?
Oh wow, in the NFL, it would be like MVP by your peers. The MVP is equivalent to winning a Heisman Trophy in the NFL. Outside of winning the Lombardi Trophy, a rushing title, or having a title at your position, winning the passing record for that year, or winning the title for receiving yards, rushing yards, and so forth. That would be it. I would definitely say that. But I haven't accomplished that. I was close. I came in third in MVP. Came within 6 inches of tying for a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm always coming up just a
little bit. You're like, if there's
all these areas
horseshoes, only if this was horseshoes.
Yeah, damn, word, God, come on, man, let me just get one, but hey, it is what it is. But that's what I would say, Marlo. That's what it is.
I would also ask, do you remember your rookie year, and if that was the same year that you suddenly had a ton of money at your disposal? Do you remember that year or that situation, and what you thought at that time that you realized was not?
That's a great question, Marlo. My rookie year, I got drafted by the Houston Oilers. So there was speculation that Houston, the Oilers, would be moving to another team, to another city. And when I came from Ohio State, and Ohio State is Ohio State, that's and on all facets, socially, all of it.
Right.
So in the league, when I got to Houston, I'm thinking, wow, this is going to be an upgrade. So I get there, and it was our facilities was in a office building, honestly, an old post office, right? And I'm like, damn, okay, at Ohio State, we got these big, huge meeting rooms, breakout rooms for each position. We have individual seats. We have a game helmet and a practice helmet, game pads and a practice pads. We got an array of shoes, selection, all of that, right? In our training room, we have a big, huge whirlpool and ice tubs and this. So I get to Houston, and it's the old post office, right?
Wait, this is a professional league. This is an NFL
professional league. There's one tub for the hot tub and the cold tub was the same tub. And you had to schedule time to get in there. Okay. All right. So go in the locker room, and I'm saying, well, where's the equipment? Well, there was a bin with jock straps in it. Just a bunch of jock straps. So you had to go in, pull out the jock strap, shake it off, the lint, guys, and be like, all right, this is gonna be mine.
No way.
So, no, true story.
NFL?
So, this is the NFL. So that's when I knew that shit was different in the NFL at that time. I mean, I got in the league where guys were smoking cigarettes in the parking lot before practice. I mean, just having casual smoking cigarettes. Yeah, I mean, even at halftime. I mean, this is the league that I was coming into. So it was really a strange environment. So, for me, when I got in the league, I was so focused on just being the best. I wanted to be like Jerry Rice. I wanted to be like Lawrence Taylor. I wanted to be like Walter Payton, and really become a master of my craft. And that's what I just really focused on. So having money at that particular time was awesome, but my priorities were different. You know what I mean? I wanted something greater. But when it was time for me to cut up in the off season in Houston, and I'm gonna say this.
It went down.
Houston. Hey, if you got some 8-ball and MJG, just rock that right down for me.
Yeah.
Houston. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh my God.
Ding, ding, boing.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Hey, when that came on in the club,
it went a little something like this.
Yes. Space age pimping.
Oh God.
Hey, that was the anthem.
Man.
The anthem. And when I walked in the club, I understood then why football really wasn't a priority, why the facilities the way it was, that no matter what, you was going to get love in Houston. And I fell in love with Houston. It was amazing. They loved Houston Oilers. The women were loyal. They're huge fans. There was a lot of them, and they were very friendly. I'll just leave it at that.
Hey, what a great combination! There's a lot of them.
That was the most polite way to say it.
Hey, let me tell you,
hoes. It was mad hoes.
There's a lot of them.
I didn't say that.
And they're friendly. I know what that is.
Hey, bro, there were NBA players that had their homes, their residence, that played in LA, that played in Philly, that played in all over the country, but they lived in Houston for one specific reason only, and that was it. And I understood it. So that was like my rookie year. It was eye-opening. It was a wonderful experience, but I had to really get my priorities straight.
So outside of the extracurricular, what was the biggest difference from college football and professional football? Was it the speed? What was it that you had to like, oh no, this is
Doc.
real?
Yeah, Doc, great question. It was definitely the speed of the game. College football was fast. Like when I went from high school to college and I saw how fast everybody moved, I was overwhelmed. I had no patience. Everything was like moving like this in front of my eyes. And then it kind of slowed down. In the NFL, it was just like that. My first practice where I had to take like go outside, is like an outside zone, and there was a pulling guard. Bruce Matthews at the time was like going into his 90th year in the NFL. He was ancient. So I'm thinking, okay, this guy, I have to wait on him to pull. I gotta slow down my steps. So they call the play, boom, go to the line of scrimmage, blah, 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 run it off. I get the ball. Bruce is 10 yards ahead of me. I'm way behind.
Right.
Wow.
You're like, damn.
So I was like, shit.
Slow down, big fella.
And catch him. And then the defensive lineman was right on his ass. So I got a gain for the no yards.
Right.
My first couple carries. So the speed of the offense and defensive lineman was unbelievably fast for me. So that's the biggest difference. And the guys in the NFL, you know, they study. They know tendencies.
Right.
And there's the little nuances of the game that they pick up on. So you can't get away with staring at where you're going to go. You got to look things off and get your vision right. You know what I'm saying? It's just little things like that you got to pick up on, because if you look at where you're going, they'll pick that off.
Yeah, you're telegraphing.
And it's good night. It's good night. You can lose your life out there. So it was definitely an eye-opening experience, because you got some savvy veterans who may have lost a step, but they gained a step by what they knew up here, so they can be at the right place, right time, and right position.
How does a coach, how do you teach that? Like, how do you teach how do you teach somebody how to study film and study like people's tendencies? How do you teach that? Or some of that kind of already innate that you kind of just pick up? Like,
This is how you learn. When you go into your first game and you just rely on pure raw talent and don't really pay attention to the nuances of the game or really study a defense and know their tendencies and what they're doing, as you go out there and tell you, okay, don't stay front side, go front side to outside, because if you go backside, that safety is going to knock the shit out of you.
mm-hmm.
So you think, I know what I'm doing. So guess what? You go to your hole, you see it, but there's a gaping hole backside. You're like, what is he talking about?
Right.
There's a huge hole backside. I'm gonna go backside. So you go backside, and guess what? The safety's under your chin. You get knocked out.
Right.
So that's how you learn. So that's when the next day you go in the film room. You're like, you know what? Let me study this a little bit better.
A little bit better,
and
right?
Really understand what's going on, because again, only experience is your great teacher. And when you're on that level, you've gotta take time to be a student of the game. Like, there's a young man that's struggling right now. I won't name any names or a certain team who is a rookie, who in his second year, quarterback.
He plays for who again? What was the team he plays for?
Don't worry about it. You'll figure it out. But he fails to realize that, you know, your success is in the film room.
Right.
Your success is not just out to you slinging the ball. You got to look safeties off. You got to learn how to read defense. You got to manipulate the defense. You got to become the offensive coordinator on the field and see things and slow it down. So that's where that comes in. So you got to really be a student of the game before you step out in the field.
Right. Go ahead, Marlo.
I mean, okay. Never mind. That's got me thinking other stuff. Anyway, I wanted to ask you more about, so you sang when you did Chicago on Broadway. Mm-hmm. Has that sparked any interest in you to get into the recording business? And will you be doing any more plays or movies or films? Or
Marlo, nah, I'm not gonna get no recording studio. That's my wife. She does that shit. I mean, you know, I was acting prior to jumping on the Broadway stage to do Chicago. I was doing some stuff locally for about 5-6 years here in Nashville. Did Shakespeare, did Othello, did Julius Caesar, a few other dramatic plays. And, you know, for me, you know, when I jump into a new profession, I want to learn everything there is about it. So as a performer or an actor or even a commentator, I really wanted to work on my voice, my delivery, and so forth. So I sought out acting lessons and singing lessons to really work on the craft. It did not work for TV, but it worked for the stage. But it worked for television. And as a result of taking the singing lessons and singing the songs and doing that stuff that I thought was stupid then, paid off because my acting coach always said, "Oh, you have a singing voice. You should do this role on Broadway in Chicago called Billy Flynn one day." And I'm like, "Woman, look, let's just go through these voice lessons so I can just, have more of have voice awareness in terms of my speaking voice." So there was after I think it was in 2014, I was doing this play called The Whipping Man. And it's a really deep, dark, dramatic play that's in the Civil War time. And I played the role of this slave and who was also practiced the Jewish custom of what is it, of a Seder around the holiday. And long story short, it was a deep, dark play, and we're in the middle of rehearsals, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I got to go see something uplifting, something light, something fun. What can I go do? Well, ironically, the travel show for Chicago was in town. So I was invited out by the president of TPAC, and she invited me out to her and her husband. I invited me to this place. So I'll go check it out. And I was aware of it because of Richard Gere and all that. So I'm sitting there in the first act, I'm thinking, all right, this is a fucking musical. And, let's see where this goes. And I'm looking on stage, and I'm seeing a dude that's playing Billy Flynn. Like, damn, he's having a good time up there. I'm like, all right, real smooth, the manly role. He's not, doing any demi-plies or dancing across the stage. I'm like, that looks like fun, right? And, as this play goes on, I'm enjoying more and more of it. And I said out loud, I said, you know what? I would love to play the role of Billy Flynn one day. And then she says to me, "Can you sing?" And like naturally, like anything else, I'll figure it out. I said, "Yeah, I can sing. I took some lessons. I've been singing before, right?" He says, "Well, you know what? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call the producers after the show, because I know them really well, and see if I can get you audition." When somebody says that to you, you like, all right,
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, right. So she did that. 2 weeks later, she calls me and says, "Eddie, I talked to Barry Weissler in New York City, the lead producer for Chicago, and he knows about you being a football player, but he knows about you being an actor. And I got you to do an audition in New York City for the role of Billy Flynn." I'm like, "Really?" She said, "Yeah, really." I said, "So when?" "In about 2 weeks." And I hadn't had a singing lesson in a year. And I'm like, wow. Oh shit. So I said, you know what? I gotta go do it because it's Broadway. Why not? Right. So I got my songs together, get with my acting coach, get all the songs together. And then it's like in November of 2014, never forget it. Go to New York in November. And I said, you know what? I know I'm gonna fuck up the notes. I know I'm not a great singer, but I'm gonna go with my top hat on, my suit,
the whole character,
Billy Flynn, the whole character. So I go to the Ambassador Theater on 42nd Street in Broadway, go in the bowels of the theater, right? And immediately I'm intimidated. Listen, I played in Michigan Stadium, I played in Baltimore, I played in the Black Hole, I played in all these venues in the NFL, and never was shook. But I walked into this theater, I was so afraid. I was like, Usher was on the stage, Wayne Brady, all these guys. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing up here, right? So I said, fuck it. I said, one way or no, whether this is going to be a great story. So I go up, and the piano player comes out. He's very professional. He sits down at the piano, and it's a dark theater. All the lights are on, and nobody's in the audience. It's just me, him, and a couple other people. And he's warming up very professional, doing the keys. He's like, all right, Mr. George, we're going to start at the top. We're going to start with All I Care About Is Love. What key are you in?
Oh, God.
Key. I got keys in my pocket.
Yeah, right. I got my car key.
Keys on Van Nuys.
Right. So we figured out the key, right? So I do the key, and we start with All I Care About Is Love and this and that. And then, I was kind of nervous. So we started from the top again, and I go through my sides, the acting coach, and I'm just having a good time, doing everything. And about at the 30 minutes of going through the songs, the sides, I hear this clapping like this. And it's Barry Weissler. He's walking down center aisle.
Oh my God.
What?
That was excellent. Let's do it. And I'm like, let's do it. Let's do it. My people will call your people. And I was like, really? We'll be on Broadway? He said, you're going to be on Broadway.
Wow.
And that was in 2014, right?
Bananas.
I didn't hear from that man until 2016
Oh.
So
2
that's
years?
how Broadway works. It took 2 years
2
for me to
years.
get on there. Yeah. But the moral of the story is, I didn't stop preparing
Right.
from that point on. I didn't hear from them. I kept the faith, kept working on my songs, kept doing it, and I came back stronger than I did that first day. So when the time was right, I was ready to go.
Yeah.
Wow. How many shows did you do?
Man, I did 6 weeks on Broadway, and then I started to do the traveling shows. So I would travel to Toronto, LA. I did LA with Brandy, actually.
Wow.
Barlow, did you come to that show?
I saw that. Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. Barlow came to that show. I did LA. I did Dallas, Houston, ironically. I've been all over the country doing it, and with the exception of course, this year. So, given the right opportunity, Marlo, the right role, and where I'm at in my life, I would love to go back on stage and do some more stuff.
Wow. I mean, I give so much respect for folks who do Broadway, like, because that live theater, that's something, because like you mess up, like,
oh yeah,
how many times did you mess up and try to figure out how to recover?
Oh God.
And what's worse?
More than I would like.
What's worse, a fumble or messing up on stage on Broadway?
Messing up on stage on Broadway. My first play I did was God's Trombones by James Weldon Johnson. It was The Creation, and it was an ensemble we had to do. My lines were, let me see if I remember. And God himself stepped down with the sun in his right hand, the moon has let the stars cluster about his head, and the earth under his feet. And God walked where he trod, hollowed the valleys out and bulged the mountains up. That's all I had to say. That's all I had to say.
You know it now.
Right now. But I was on stage, my back was to the audience, and every person had to deliver a certain line. And there was like African drums going on, and it was African dancing and streamers, and they're doing all this shit. And then,
doing all this shit.
And it's a packed house. It's like one night only. And it was hyped up that Eddie George is going to be on stage for his grand debut, right? So everybody's in there. My people in there. My wife is in there. And then it was time for me to come down and deliver my lines. The African drums was going, and they go quiet, right? And I walked down center stage, and I see the lights. I feel the heat of the lights, and I can see like my wife in the audience like this, like what Marlon was just doing, like, oh shit, like what is this nigga do? Like,
She's like, oh
I
my
see,
God.
I see my boys in the back, Steve McNair, and them like, you Denzel now. Okay, let's see this, right? And I said, and God himself stepped down with the sun in his right hand, the moon in his left. The sky is blue. The sun is out. The pastures is green, and the animals are playing. And God said, that's good. And I walked off the stage.
Wow.
So they didn't know I fucked up, but the ensemble knew. So that's what you
sold
do.
it.
You make it up.
Sold it.
Yeah, you sold it.
Oh,
I was sold right
Back
there.
on that stage again, man. I ain't want to go back on that stage again. That was equivalent like bungee jumping, boy. That was
When you went back, what did the cast say?
Oh, they was laughing their ass off. It was no support. It was like, oh no, Eddie. It was like, welcome to theater.
Right.
Oh, you want to act? Yeah.
Right.
Oh, they was laughing their asses off, boy. I will never forget that.
Oh,
hilarious.
All right, so I'm in the comments right now. We have a question about doing TV. Would you ever consider doing more reality TV?
Nah. My wife loves reality television. And I've done it. I Married a Baller. She's done a few of her shows, and it's not really reality. It's scripted reality. It's scenarios. We want to set you up, and I don't particularly care for it because it's not truthful, and I don't want someone to get the wrong idea like this is not who I am.
Right.
I'm going to be acting then. I really don't want to be doing this shit. So, you want to look for a certain beat. But they don't understand that I still have to go home to my wife after this. Y'all want to get this little moment for the drama, and then I got to deal with this shit later on and beyond.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, reality is cool for those that dig it, but I don't really dig it. So no.
There it is.
Wow. So you talked about Broadway, and I know that, like you said, there's other businesses that you want to excel in, right? Because after post retiring, you went back to school.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
How difficult was that after playing for the amount of years that you did? Like, because school is a whole different type of discipline. Was it hard to go back?
Actually, it wasn't, because it was on my dime.
Right.
It was on my dime.
I can pay tuition, so it was like, I got it. I'm there.
No. Meaning that I'm going to show up to class.
Right. You're not going to waste it.
I'm going to study.
Yes.
I'm not going to waste it. So I went back in 2004, got my master, I got my degree in landscape architecture from Ohio State. Started my own landscape architecture business. Didn't really understand the business side, which inspired me to go get my master's in business from Kellogg School of Management. So that was it. So it was kind of funny that, you know, I was studying to be an actor because those opportunities were being handed to me, but also the impetus or the whole crux of it is you're in the entertainment business. Mm-hmm. So I had to understand business principles and take my work ethic that I took from football, my principles from football, everything that I learned in terms of what made me who I am in football, and apply that now to a new craft in business, understanding that. So I wanted not only to be in front of the camera, but also behind the camera, also be the producer, also identify what recurring revenue opportunities that there were for my talent. Mm-hmm. So I'm not just, you know, going to be the talent and get a one-off. How can I figure out ways I can make money while I sleep, and take my passions with that? So I made different transitions. I made some pivots from different businesses. And now my core business, what I do outside of the entertainment stuff, is wealth management. Like we talked about in the beginning, you know, when as a rookie, I didn't say this, I had a significant amount of money, but that was almost taken away from me from a scrupulous financial advisor. Mm-hmm. And again, you know, me wanting to be a bridge builder, I wanted to learn that and try to prevent other athletes from walking down that same path, and be a really true agent of change, and be someone that can be trustworthy, honest, and have a high level of integrity, and help out people in their finances. So I started my own wealth management business about 4 or 5 years ago. Got my Series 7 license, 66, and all of that. Health, wealth licenses now, and that's what I do full time outside of my entertainment world.
Wow. Go ahead, Marlo.
You got 2 full-time jobs. You got that's two.
Well,
you got a whole damn company, and you have a full-time. You probably have much of a full-time job in entertainment, because aren't you still doing like commentary and stuff?
Well, no, I'm not on Fox anymore. I've done that, been there, done it. I do some stuff for Sirius XM. Things according to my schedule. It's not full time. Those are opportunities. I mean, I still talk about the game. I still love the game, but my core business is definitely helping young entrepreneurs in terms of financial services, and helping people with their finances, and how underinsured you may be, and how you can build wealth through insurance. Identifying different platforms to put your money in. This, if you had a surplus, and so forth. Understanding tax laws, and so on. So those are the things that I do now. And there's a entertainment element behind that, where I can host a podcast talking about these specific things, mm-hmm. and using my stories, and using me as the classic case study of what not to do and what to do, and a slew of my former teammates what to do and what not to do.
Right.
And it can be applied to the everyday person. So, I don't like to say a job, because a job sounds like work.
You work for somebody? That's not what I meant.
Well, I do. I work. I have a team of people, but what I'm saying is, I want to live my life passion. I want to live my life work in terms of when I wake up, I would do it for free. I love doing it. Versus I enjoy it versus saying, God, I got to go on and do the show today. Yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah.
When you made that decision and that you came to, like, you know what, I'm done with football. First of all, where were you when you finally made the decision, like, I'm done, this is it, I'm retiring, I'm not playing anymore? And when you did that and made that decision in your mind, did you then start to think of, okay, this is what I want to do next? Like, did you have a post plan once you made the decision to retire?
Doc, that is such a great question, because you know that day is coming, and for me, it happened faster and quicker than I thought, and it hit home harder than I thought. I thought that I could retire, after 15, 16 years. I felt great, but in the NFL stands for not for long,
right?
And it's a young man's game. And in the terms of how you get paid and veterans versus rookies and so forth. I found out after I left Tennessee, I went to Dallas, and I kind of felt like I had some more juice in me. So I wanted to see what the free agent market was going to be like. When I kind of realized that it wasn't going to happen was when it was somewhere like August, July of 2005. And I just been busting my ass on the track, getting ready, hoping for an opportunity, praying for an opportunity, visualizing another opportunity. And I'm waiting for my agent to call me with my flip phone at my kitchen table. And I'm sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting and never got a call.
Wow.
And I was like, shit. Damn.
How did that work?
It's over.
Were you depressed, angry? Like, what was that emotion?
It was all of it. I think initially it was shock, anger. It was, I displaced that energy into things that were unhealthy for me at the time. My wife was pregnant with my youngest son, and she was dealing with postpartum depression and shit, and me dealing with my shit. It wasn't a happy household. So that was, going out the war outside and bringing the war back in wasn't it. So it was very difficult, and I had to seek out, counseling and say, look, I'm struggling in this area. I can't get through this by myself. And you never get over that. You know what I'm saying? It happened 15 years ago, and I still seek counseling. I still check in.
Right.
I still have to really say divorce myself from that mindset, because it was such a huge part of my life.
Right.
It was literally, you're building and creating this human being, this persona. And for 31 years, I dedicated my life to that. I gave my blood, sweat, and tears and guts to this shit. And to have it end the way it did, not on my terms,
right,
really, really hurt me. And I'm like, well, damn, what can I do next? What am I going to do then? Well, first of all, who am I? I'm no longer the football player.
Right.
So I couldn't attach myself to that identity, because that identity died. And if I did that, if I stayed married to that, I would physically at some point die along with that.
Right.
Meaning that substance abuse, gambling, whatever's going to fulfill that void inside of you that was destructive was going to take over.
Right.
So, I had to delve back into my spirituality. I had to rely on my faith and my family to really pull through that. And it's an ongoing thing that never ends. Right. And some guys deal with it than others. Some guys get in the game because they want the platform, and that's okay. But I played the game for different reasons, was to be great at it and to be the best, to win championships and to leave on my terms. But this didn't happen that way.
Right. Well, not, playing 9 years, but the accomplishments that you had on the field are, over 10,000 yards. So you're averaging, over 1,000 yards a year for 9 years. That's such a serious accomplishment. When you were there, did you feel like, were you overworked by that franchise? Do you feel like they put so much on you to, carry that team? Did it feel heavy?
You know what, man? I wanted that. I wanted it. When some people say you don't want that smoke, well, I wanted that smoke.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to carry the franchise. I wanted the ball in my hands. I wanted it 300 times a year. I welcomed that challenge. I trained for that challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I prepared for it. So, when people say, well, they ran you to the ground, you're damn right they did. Because I ran myself into the ground.
Right.
I would have been bitching on the sidelines if I wasn't in on a lot of those plays, if I wasn't getting it 25 times a game.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what you live for, and you just deal with the consequences that come along with it. Somebody asked me the question today: do I think a running back should they do a pitch count and all this cute stuff, and should they let him rest? But you got a small window to define your career and define
Right.
your legacy.
Right.
I don't got time to be worried about. I had 15 carries. Oh, take me out of the game now, coach. I'm good. I'm fine. I want to preserve my knees, my mind, and my body.
I'm good, thank you.
What is that? I've reached my threshold for the day. Nah. Like,
right.
I'm only expecting 10. I did 15.
Right.
Right. Who does that shit? You only have a small window to become a champion in this league, and you gotta address it. You gotta attack it, and if it requires you to carry the ball 400 times, then so be it. If it don't, it don't.
Right.
So that's how I looked at it.
Right. Smooth Marlo.
Who is your number one running back of all time?
Ooh.
Man, boy, Smooth D, you, that's a rough one.
And just one, because a lot of times you'll try to cheat. Well, no, right. Just one.
You done made the man grab his drink.
Yeah,
I look at it like this. I look at it like this. Everybody throws out top fives. To me, it's harder relegating a top five. Just shoot like you're number one. Bam.
So Smooth.
I have mine.
I think I know who yours is.
You know who mine is.
Smooth.
Well, it depends on the flavor of the month. Like it depends. It's like Baskin and Robbins. It's so many flavors to pick and choose from. So for me, what inspired me was Walter Payton.
Ah, that's Smooth D's.
All time.
Matter of fact, I'm just gonna do this real quick so you'll see that I'm not bullshitting here. See, you see that?
Oh, there it
is. So sweetness was definitely my one, because I used to study his tape.
Yeah, no, sweetness was Walter Payton was no punk. He was dope.
Where was he from?
He played in Chicago. He played for the Bears.
He played for the Bears. He's from
Mississippi.
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 Yeah.
Played at Jackson State University, of all places. Yes.
Mine is Earl Campbell. Coming out of college, you know that you're going to go first round. What team did you like? If you could have picked any team at that time, what franchise would it have been?
Well, what's funny? I would always look at management, which is crazy to think. Like at 22 years old, I'm thinking
that's the last thing somebody's thinking about is management.
About management, right? I'm thinking management. I'm thinking location. I'm thinking about market. Just looking at off the field opportunities. So initially, it was like New York because. Ooh, that's where
big market.
Madison Avenue, big market, but the Jets are sorry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that. So for championships and pedigree and environment and standard was either the Pittsburgh Steelers or San Francisco 49ers because of DeBartolo and that whole crew.
Right.
So that's initially what I was thinking. But I said, I really didn't have a choice because I was like, wherever God puts me, that's where I'm going to wreak havoc. And that's where I got to lay it down, whether it's Miami, Houston, Pittsburgh, Minnesota. It did not matter where it was. That's where I was going to lay it down.
Right. And that's funny. With all the things that you were looking at, Houston and Tennessee was none of those at that time. Right?
Nah,
like,
it
wasn't a big
wasn't even close. It wasn't even on my radar.
Right.
It wasn't.
I mean, you was going through jockstrap.
Right.
That's
right.
crazy.
Like, are you kidding me?
That was like on some Bad News Bears type of stuff.
But it was an NFL team. That's the killer. Because he compared it to his college team. It was like
for lunch, we would have to go to McDonald's to go eat lunch. Or go like to the local gyro store or get some Mexican food or so. It wasn't like they have now where they got the cafeteria, they got the chef there, they got the protein shakes with the spinach and kale and the
y'all had an hour lunch. Y'all had an hour lunch break.
Hey, we had to go get that rice and beans, that Popeye's chicken and biscuits with the honey, and go get it.
And they was not even thinking about nutrition.
Hell no. Man, they were smoking cigarettes in the parking lot, man.
Who knows what else?
They were smoking cigarettes.
Who smokes cigarettes nowadays? They smoking cigarettes.
That's a throwback. That's a throwback.
Marble. That's terrible.
You know what I mean? Like, who does that? Like,
terrible.
Terrible.
Marlo, I know you have something else.
I always have stuff. Okay, so have you ever, I know you said you don't care about singing or anything, but have you ever done a duet, maybe playing with you and your wife?
All the time. That shit happens every day.
Yeah, ever put it on media?
No, you know what? I say, listen. We never did, but like that's day one. That's always happened with us. And she gets mad at me because she says I don't stay on key, and I'm like, nah, I'm on key. You're not.
From your experience, it's not the first time you've been told about key. Because when they asked you for your audition, he's like, key.
Car keys. Like, what keys are you talking about?
Keys to the Beamer? Who got the keys to the Beamer?
Oh my God.
So, Eddie, with all the things that you have going on with your businesses, how can folks get more information about that if they want to, follow you or get financial advice? Because it seems like
wait, hold on.
Go ahead, Marlo.
Wait, hold on. Wait, one thing. I know that you're a DJ as well.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
What would you say your intro song and your exit song is for your set?
You know what? That's tough, Marlo, because it depends on the crowd. It depends on your audience. Like if I'm playing in Tennessee, I can open up with like Independent and then close with Yo Gotti. You know what I'm saying? Because I know the Memphis audience. So if it's New York, it can be something different, and it depends on the crowd. Like if it's like a 30 and up crowd, and they like the old 90s, or you dealing with some young heads and they like Gunna or whatever. It just really depends on your audience.
Okay.
So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay, so then what would you say is your signature song? If
you
had a song
when all else fails, what's the go-to?
Your signature song that people know that if they hear that in the set, they know that is Eddie George. Yeah.
Meek Mill, Dreams and Nightmares. That's me. That's
okay.
Anything Meek, that's what I love. I love Philly artists, but Meek to me, like I could pick anything out of Meek and rock it. That's me. But again, I love 90s hip hop. Mobb Deep, you know, Black Moon, Smith and Wesson.
Oh, you on okay? You on the boot camp click? The boot camp
that's
click.
boot camp
Okay.
click. Yeah, that's. I love that. That's
your
me.
era.
That's my era.
All right.
No
So
doubt.
before we get out of here, and I know Smooth had put you on notice in regards to your favorite running back. So now let's do that with MCs real quick. Since that's your, we know what your era is. If we were to say not even top 5, top 3, and it could be a solo artist or rap group. If you were to say these are my top 3 just favorite hip hop artists, who would that be?
All right. That's rough. Let me think here. I mean, I'm gonna go Hove because I've always been a Hove since the '90s, and I'm not talking about, just the recent Hove. Like his first album, Reasonable Doubt, to me was a classic. Right. Period.
My favorite of his.
Actually, Marlo, mine too. Reasonable Doubt right now still bangs.
Still bangs. See, I gotta pay like homage to like Scarface, because I'm not gonna put in the top 3. Face, incredible. Wu-Tang, you can pick any MC.
Oh, I
nice.
can.
No, hold up, no. We can't pick it.
Stop you.
You can't pick any MC.
Okay, all right. You got it.
You can't say you got. Not you got.
You got. Okay. All right. You got. Okay. Nas, I love Nas, but if I'm gonna say like as far as consistency and a true lyricist is Black Thought.
The Roots, okay.
Period. I mean, he's very consistent. He does different genres of music.
Yeah.
I think he's probably the best MC out there in terms of battle rappers. And I put him against Eminem, Mos Def, Hove, anybody. I mean, Black Thought is nasty.
You think really?
But but then there's Ice Cube. Then there's NW. There's the West Coast. I hadn't hit that. And then there's down. But that's what I would say. It's tough to say who the greatest MC is. You almost have to put him you almost have to say who's your top 25.
Right. There's no question.
That's hard.
But that's
hard.
Yeah, it is. How often do you DJ? Like events, like what type of, I mean, obviously now things are shut down or whatever, but prior to that, what type of events, like where do you spin at when you get the chance?
Well, I go downstairs. I have my own set downstairs. I got my 1200 still. I use Serato. I'm a purist. I love the feel of vinyl still. So that's what I do. But I've done parties over the years. There you go. I've been doing parties for over like the last 10 years in LA, ESPN parties. They have this thing called the boom bap here where it's nothing but DJs. So like I've done that on occasion and just get on, drop a couple of songs that I love. And I love music. I've been DJing since I was 15 years old. And my mom couldn't afford any DJ equipment, so I would go to my cousin's house and I would fuck his records up, scratch them up. That's what I was doing. But I was taught, the line, put the line on there to find your start, stop, and learning how to cut, learning to transform and all of that. I just love the art of DJing. Growing up in that era, you fell in love with one of the 3 forms of hip hop. That was either you was a rapper, a break dancer, graffiti artist, or you DJ. And I tried all of them,
Right.
So that was it for me.
Wait, so did you break dance?
Way back in the day. Yeah.
What was your name? What was your dancer name?
My dancer name was Eazy-E, Southwest Philly Breakers.
Oh, let me out.
Southwest Philly Breakers.
Southwest Philly Breakers.
Eazy-E, yes.
Was that
had the Puma sweatsuit and everything?
All that.
Yeah.
So when you made the transition from being a dancer to trying to MC, what was your MC name?
No. That stopped real quick. The MC part was not happening.
No.
Nah.
I'm just going to these turntables.
I didn't get
exactly.
to a name of that.
I'll try to recite some rhymes that I learned, but freestyle, all that, that's not my.
That wasn't you.
Nah. No.
So
I feel like at one point everybody thought they could rap. Like everybody started writing raps.
Oh, no question. Marlo, did you have a rap?
Yeah.
What?
She tries to rap now.
Marlo, what was it? What was your rap name?
Mookie.
Mookie.
My mother called me Mookie.
Hey, can you bust a freestyle, Mookie?
Bust something.
Freestyle? No. I can't bust a freestyle, but I can bust like a rhyme, like my rhyme that I have.
What was it? What was
Let's go. Let's go.
Go ahead.
Bust it, Marlo.
Say it again.
Bust your one rhyme.
About
Go.
to. I'm Marlo J, and okay. First of all, hold this thing. This is the same cadence that everybody used, and I don't know why.
Marlo J.
I'm Marlo J, and I'm on the mic. I'm gonna rap to you morning, day, and night. I'm gonna rap so hard, make the party people bop, because that's what Marlo's all about.
Marlo, you just made that. There's no way you wrote that. You just made that. Wait, you actually took time to write that?
Yes. What? That was fire. What? What? I remember practicing it. What? On the way to school, I had to memorize it.
That is so terrible.
Amazing, man.
Oh, man, AM Caffeine Show. Eddie, man, thank you so much for hanging out with us, man. This was fantastic.
Man, it's been a pleasure.
How they can follow you, how they can keep up with what you have going on, all that stuff.
Well, listen, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, EddieGeorge2727. If you're interested in the wealth management side, you can look at my website, edwardgeorgewealthmanagement.com. That's edwardgeorgewealthmanagement.com. I have a video on there just talking about why I got into the business and why I'm doing it now. And, go on my website as well, eddiegeorge.com, and see what I'm doing. And that's it.
There it is, man. Thank you so much, Eddie. Marlo, thank you for making this happen. I mean, you've been on the show 3 or 4 years, and this is probably you've done 2 good things. But outside of that, you've actually what you have done is earned yourself another year because you haven't really done.
Oh, thank you so much.
But bringing Eddie today. This is.
Oh my God, Joe, we won. Get the fuck out of here.
AM Caffeine Show. Eddie, thank you so much, brother. Anytime, open door policy here, man. We appreciate everything you have done and continue to do.
Thank you so much for having me, Doc. Marlo, appreciate you. Love you like no other. You the homie. Appreciate you bringing me on. Hey, Smooth D, man. Hey, honor to meet you, man. Keep rocking.
Likewise.
Quick question for you, though. You said you was in a fraternity. What fraternity you in?
Kappa Alpha Psi.
Kappa Alpha Psi. Okay.
Yes,
all right.
What about you, Eddie?
Omega Psi Phi.
I should have.
Okay. 1911. 1911. It's a good year.
Yes, sir. It's a great, exceptional year.
I don't know. I feel like that's some kind of inside joke.
We were both founded in the same year.
In the same year,
yes.
There it is. AM Caffeine Show will be back next week. Once again, you can follow Marlo J at Marlo J. How can they find you?
You can find me on all social media platforms at Marlo J. That's MarloJaye. Make sure you subscribe, share, and comment on Black Girl Bucket List, as well as That Girl Said on anywhere on YouTube or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And for everything else, MarloJ.com. What about you, D?
Hey, go to smoothd.com, SMOOOTHDEE. You got me.
That's what it is, AM Caffeine Show. Make sure you follow us at AM Caffeine Show each and every Wednesday and Friday. And we will be back. You guys enjoy your holiday. And we out. Eddie, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, Eddie.